On August 2nd, 2022, this strange video would be uploaded onto TikTok. There was absolutely no context provided to the video, not even a description. And what's even stranger is that this isn't even an account dedicated to posting disturbing things like accounts we've covered in the past. This account belongs to a man named James. We never learn his actual name, but I will be referring to him as so just to avoid confusion. Before James would begin posting videos on TikTok, he would begin posting onto Instagram, these posts being very tame compared to what James would upload in the future, because the doll that's featured in a ton of these videos has pretty much taken over the entire TikTok account. Before, James's Instagram was dedicated to his small business, making and designing custom polls for customers. However, the more that James would continue to post onto Instagram, we'd see less and less of his aspirations for success and more so of this doll.
I got too much money for this. I thought you paid these poop butts off, man.
I'll spread them.
And after taking a look at this account for a while now, I feel like it's pretty safe to divide this account into 3 separate occurrences. The first being the birth of this Instagram account, then the introduction of the doll, and finally what I like to call the merger, in which James and the doll no longer seem to be separate from each other, but now are one. So like I mentioned earlier, this TikTok account is pretty strange, and it's weird because James wasn't always posting these types of videos. In fact, the first few of his posts on Instagram were incredibly normal. And in one of those first posts, in fact the first post, it states, "Custom canes made by me, August 27th, 2021. Made by me, custom canes made by me. In the making, custom cane." And it wouldn't be until his third post onto Instagram where he would reveal himself to his audience. And pretty much from August 2021 to April 2022, so a pretty long time, this theme would remain consistent on his account. James would also try to expand his business by making this venture into making custom crates, not solely focusing on just the canes. However, this didn't seem to be very successful, as he would quickly return back to primarily making the canes. But on April 17th, 2022, James would upload this photo seemingly out of nowhere, what seemed like a doll version of himself sitting in the driver's seat. Though in this imitation of himself, the doll does have facial tattoos, while James does not. And the reason that I bring the facial tattoos up is because we'll see the further we get into these posts how the doll kind of acts as this aspirational figure that James one day wants to become. And at the time of making the doll, perhaps he'd wish that he'd gotten one, however he hasn't gotten around to it yet, and so there it is on the doll. Now, this isn't the first time we've covered a doll Instagram account on this channel. In fact, it's a little strange how we've covered 2 already, this being the third actually. The first being the doll family Instagram account, and then we covered the Sabrina Miller Instagram page. While one was based entirely in the realm of fiction, the other was very much based in reality. One man's perception completely altered, building himself an entire family. A family that he's loved for years now, regardless of what people do or say to him. And the reason that I bring up these past 2 videos up in this video is because I feel like the prospect of having a doll in your life oftentimes leads to something more, something going on behind the scenes. Whether those be aspirations, dreams, love, all of these things being projected through a doll. A sort of figure that you can turn into anything that you want. Because transforming yourself into anything you want can be incredibly difficult. So why not make a doll version of yourself and make that doll everything that you aspire to be? And I really do feel like that is the case that is going on with James's Instagram account, because things like views, fame, and attention don't really feel like the point of this account. Because James has been posting onto this account for a couple of years now, and views hasn't been a thing that's stopped him at all. Instead, this rather seems to be somewhat of a case of a digital journal. James capturing these moments of his life and the progression of the doll.
Oh, well, I'm Pennywise, the dancing clown. Pennywise? Yes, meet Georgie. Georgie, meet Pennywise. Now we aren't strangers, are we?
A storm blew me away. Blew the whole circus away.
Because when James first started posting pictures of the doll, they were very sparsed out. Maybe every couple of 10 posts, we'd get an image of this doll. Sometimes it would be even longer, in fact, like we would go kind of a couple of months without seeing the doll whatsoever, which included this video that was posted of the doll jamming in the car on October 30th, 2022, but then a 7-month gap would occur until the next time we would see the doll. However, after all of that time passed, we get this very different look at what the doll is now. This time the look of the doll has completely changed.
You think you and some old voodoo can scare me out of my house? I don't care how many slaves.
Followed by this incredibly unnerving video where James is inside of the doll waving around a G-U-N. The body moving in this very unnerving way. The caption reading, "I'm 18 and I will pull it." The movements of the doll in this video do remind me a lot of the movie Us by Jordan Peele, that very crickety movement that makes you feel pretty uncomfortable. Aside from the videos though, there is a severe lack of anyone being included in any of James's posts. And to draw some comparisons to the Doll Family Instagram account, Chris Monte, the owner of that account, was very much the same, facing severe isolation and this feeling of not belonging, to which he combated by finding solace in his wife Natalia and with their children, all of which being dolls. However, that didn't matter to Chris, as he still found love in the people that he'd created. And the same thing seems to be happening with James, as what started off as tracking the progress of his cane business became a documentation of James slowly becoming the doll. And I don't mean that in the sense that James is being possessed by the doll in any way, but more so in the sense that in the eyes of James, this is the idealized version of himself, so accepting that version is becoming better himself. Another quick side note when it comes to this account is that there also seems to be some economical factors playing into James's videos, which includes some videos of James lip syncing an audio about how hard things are financially.
Because I'm working every day very hard and I never had money. Fucking shit. So everything is expensive, motherfucker. So I don't know.
Then in the background of this other video, we can see that he is doing DoorDash as well. And in other videos, he just straight up seems sad. And while he has found some success with his cane business, it isn't enough to fully carry the weight of expenses. It's a very heartbreaking and relatable experience, as wanting to come out on top with your dream, but the fiscal output of said dream simply isn't enough. Wanting to go all in, but the risk is too great. And that's what I believe is happening with James's feelings, all of those frustrations being funneled into the doll. In a lot of older videos as well, James and the doll seem to be two separate entities. James speaks to the doll and engages in conversation as if this is his best friend, while in others he gets incredibly hostile toward the doll, and that's never explained as to why.
So it looked like I'm gonna be around here for a while. I ain't trying to be a daddy or nothing, but if you need some advice,
feel.
Fuck with me one more time, you do, and I don't care about none of it. I'm a real boy. I'm a real boy. I'm a straight. I don't need none of it.
And going into the year of 2024, James's replica wouldn't be the only doll featured on the account, as James would create an entirely new ensemble of characters to inhabit his fictional world. And this pretty much became the status quo of the account. All we really saw were the dolls, and James didn't really make an appearance on the account anymore. All we get to see from now on are the dolls. Now, it is unknown as to the exact reason why James is uploading these videos, as to the true relationship with the dolls, and much more the true relationship that James has with the dolls. And this entire video is pretty much me being left in the dark as well and trying to speculate as to what I believe is happening here. So be sure to take everything that I've said with a grain of salt. This is kind of just me, spitballing with what I've been given, as there is very little to go off of, especially considering that there are basically no descriptions in any of the videos. Not to mention that the account itself is pretty underground. Not many people, I don't think anybody is talking about this account, so it makes the whole thing that much more strange. And also considering the fact that James doesn't even make appearances on the account anymore, all you'll find are the dolls. We are left to wonder the true purpose of these videos and what is going on inside of James's head, because the trail really does end here and there is nothing more for us to investigate. All we can do is wonder what James's true intentions are. But yeah, I know this video is pretty short, but I did want to give this account its own separate video. And I do want to give a huge shout out to all my beautiful channel members, as well as my ultimate tiers, Kareem Ariano and Alejandra from the Tower. If you do want early access to videos, as well as your name right here, it's only $1.99. But yeah, that's everything. I'll see you later. Bye. Love you.